Yep, and then we'll get into a lot of that. But I appreciate the work that you're doing around the city. Appreciate the work that you're doing for the youth, and we're going to get into it for people that don't know who Shawn Hunter is. So let's talk about for the people that know who Shawn Hunter is. They know who the Peacemakers are, and they see that red. I normally see you guys wearing that red hoodie,
Yes.
with the white logo. Now let's take a step back, right? So let's go back in time and talk about your early life influences. And can you share some of your early life experiences that influence your decisions on you wanting to impact the local community?
Yes. Well, I did not have those type of thoughts until later on in life, but we will take it back somewhat. Uh, when I was a little boy, I was growing up in a place called Covington, Virginia, out of Allegheny County, and um, I know who my father is. I know who my mother is, and they were not always together, um, but I knew who my father was. So I come from that uh, single parent household. I come from a broken household. Um, I was passed around in my family, and so I pretty much at a younger age had a troubled um, life because I was exposed to a whole lot of harmful things, and that a kid should not be exposed to. But there was good too, also. Memory of being in the church a lot. Um, Loved school at one time, but I only went to I stopped learning like in the fourth or fifth grade. Uh, Life just took a bad turn for me. Um, when I was in my teenage years, I was already using drugs. Uh, Tried to commit suicide at the age of 16, and ended up, unfortunately, in the prison system at the age of 17 with a sexual offense that I ended up spending 21 years of my life in prison for. So uh, that's just a little background of my life. So pretty much I grew up uh, in the penal system.
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna say I'm a product of nothing because I was out. God made me into something what He wanted to make me into, and so I can't say I'm a product of the prison system, a product of my environment, but I'm here and a living testament that hey, you can go through trials and tribulations in life and come out so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Go through a storm and come out so beautiful. And I'm grateful that I'm here, that and to be able to tell you what I'm telling you now.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's travel back. So you're saying that throughout your youth where you grew up. So where was the pivot? Usually when folks start to go down a certain road, or when things start to happen, like was there a pivot? Was there a situation that was pulling you towards that lifestyle back then?
Um, we was poor. I was poor. So I moved to when I was around about 14. I moved to 13. I moved to DC with my sister, and that was really when my life of crime started because the life there was fast in DC, and so I ended up being with the wrong crowd, not going to school, breaking into vehicles. The thing out there during that time, we was snatching purses, hats, uh, I would say mischievous, but these was criminal things, delinquent things that young teenagers did during that time, and that's how we made our living. We either we wore the things that we stole, or we sold it and made money, and that allowed us to maneuver like young adults around the city because we was poor. We didn't get money from our mom and dad, so a child sometimes people don't understand that they take care of themselves by whatever means they can, and so that was the lifestyle that I was in for a while, and then I brought it back to Virginia.
Got you. So do you think that, because I know when you look at when youth are in the street, they gravitate towards someone like a big brother or a
Yes,
mentor. It may not
yes.
be in the correct way, but did you have any mentors then that you were looking up to that were in the street that kind of pulled you more out there?
Yes, and I think it's similar to what today you looked at the dope boys who had the most money, the fine cars, and the girls liked them because they had money. And so, as a young mind like that, you look at something that this is what you you can see yourself being, because that's the easy way, because nobody never taught you nothing or guided you in a different way. So you thought that was success, what you saw. But, 9 times out of 10, what we saw and what we emulated ended us either in prison or the graveyard.
Yeah, gotcha. So what are some of your life lessons that early on, like when you're in that, fourth grade or whatever to about 12 that you learned during that time? Did you ever
Right.
think about, man, like this is something that I want to stop, but you couldn't? Or was it just you were kind of learning and going as you were moving?
I say this all the time, that kids mimic what they see and repeat what they hear. I was around violence all my life, even in the household. My mom and dad violent with each other. The worst language that a kid could possibly hear, and some of the worst things that a kid could possibly see. Um, and I was abused by my mother, not sexually abused, but physically abused, because when my father was in there, she took things out on me. And so it was rough. And so this is what I took out in the street.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I took into the school. That the way I was treated, that's the way I treated people. Hurt people, hurt people.
Per people. So let's go a little deeper on that, because you hear nowadays where you're hearing about mental health, right?
Yes.
But it's almost like people are being groomed and shaped. It's no different than if you play football. You're taught to use that aggression and you're trained on how to use that aggression. So could you talk about the mental effect or the mental aspect on seeing the violence, being raised in it, how that kind of made you feel like, okay, this is an okay lifestyle?
All of us got emotions, and anger is one of them. And so if we saw our parents angry at home, and the way that they displayed their anger and the way they handled their anger and the way they resolved their anger was through violence, if that's all that you constantly see, if that's the way that somebody handles that emotion of anger, that's what's going to go into that child. Naturally, that's what's going to go into the child, because, our first teachers are at home, your mother and your father. And so everything that we see on the street today, brother, comes from the household. And some of us may not understand that when I'm at home and I'm on the phone and I'm cussing, but my kid is in the other room and he heard the kind of conversation that I'm having. He's listening. The stuff that I look at on TV, my child is going to be looking at the things that I look at, or how I respond to things on TV. When we are at home gossiping on the phone and talking about one another, our children hear and see these things. Or the violent talk that we have, I kill so-and-so, I do this to so-and-so. And our kids are taking this out in the street and performing these acts. And so, yes, I do know how this can affect a child mentally, because what we take in is what we're going to take out.